It was supposed to be a low-key night, a quick stop to support a friend at a small wrestling show. But for Raja Jackson, son of MMA legend Quinton Rampage Jackson, that night spiraled into something no one could have predicted. One second he was laughing backstage, the next he was the center of a storm that would be streamed live, shared thousands of times, and even land him under police investigation. Something happened that flipped the entire mood of the night, and it all started with one unexpected hit that changed everything. Raja wasn't there to play wrestler, he was there for one reason: to support his friend AJ Mana, a guy grinding his way through the wrestling circuit. Raja even said it himself. He didn't care about wrestling, he just wanted to show up for a friend. So while AJ was focused on his match, Raja was in the back, relaxed, chatting with a few of AJ's buddies. The vibe was easy. Handshakes, jokes, nothing serious. But that calm didn't last long. Enter Psycho Stu. Every wrestling locker room has that one guy. The loud one. The attention seeker. Whether he'd had too much to drink or was just too deep into his character, Stu wanted to make a moment. He spotted the camera and saw an opportunity to turn it into his own little show. Big belly out, hands on hips, he strutted toward Raja, trying to get a rise out of him. Raja didn't bite. He stayed cool, barely looking his way. That's when Stu crossed the line. Out of nowhere, he snatched up a prop can, something meant for a stunt, and popped Raja over the head with it like it was just another gag for the fans. But Raja wasn't a performer. He wasn't in on the joke. And worse, just days before, he'd taken a spinning kick in sparring and was still recovering from a concussion. He'd even mentioned feeling off, throwing up, and needing rest. So that quick, thoughtless tap, to him it wasn't harmless. It was personal. Like and subscribe to Stars and Hypes for more, and let's continue. The change in the room was instant. The laughter died. Raja didn't laugh it off, didn't even blink. His expression hardened, his voice low, irritated. You could feel it. This wasn't some playful backstage bit anymore. Someone had just woken up a fighter who didn't want to be woken. The tension was thick and nobody realized it yet, but this little moment was the first spark of a much bigger fire. That one careless swing with the prop can could have been shrugged off. But Raja wasn't wired for that. He's not a wrestler used to scripted chaos. He's a fighter, raised around real hits and real consequences. And that prop shot landed on a head that was already vulnerable. So when the cameras kept rolling, Raja stayed quiet, but something in his body language changed. His voice was clipped, his patience gone. He tried to shake it off, but you could tell he was on edge. Then came the trigger. As the night went on, Stu didn't let up. Whether it was his personality, a little too much liquor, or just his need for attention, he kept hovering, cracking jokes, still trying to make a moment. Raja's friends reminded him to chill. Even AJ stepped in, telling Stu to back off, but the damage was done. After that first hit, the room got tense fast, and even Stu realized he'd crossed a line. You could see him trying to dial it back, offering a quick apology as AJ stepped in to calm things down. But Raja wasn't having it, not at first. The concussion, the surprise, the disrespect, it all stacked up.
I apologize.
I appreciate it.
I didn't know. I thought you were at work first. You stayed in the camera.
I get it.
Then someone threw out an idea: why not turn the heat into a moment for the crowd? Let Raja get his payback in the ring. It wasn't about revenge anymore, it was about making something out of the chaos. That's when the energy shifted.
We're working out. Well, he's gonna come out on your mat, too. I know you keep thinking we're working. We're always working.
I get it. Yeah. I get it now. Now
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're always working. So we'll set it up. I'll have him come out during your mat so we could do the whole thing, and we'll make something out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Raja's expression softened, and for the first time all night he cracked a hint of a grin. If Stu wanted to make it a show, fine. Raja would give the fans a show. He accepted the offer to enter the match, and just like that, what started as a tense apology turned into a setup for the night's most unpredictable twist. By the time the matches rolled around, Raja's frustration was boiling over. The crowd was buzzing, the lights were on, and Stu was back in the ring doing what he does best, showboating. But Raja wasn't in the mood to sit still anymore. Watching from the back, still hearing the comments from chat, still feeling that dull ache in his head, he made a decision. He wasn't going to let it slide. Then the signal came. Someone on AJ's team gave Raja the nod. It was time to get his receipt, a term wrestlers use when someone owes a payback. But Raja wasn't thinking about show business. He stood up, emptied his pockets, and handed off his phone like a man preparing for a fight. And the whole room knew something was about to happen. The crowd barely had time to process it. One moment the match was underway, the next Raja stormed through the ropes like a man possessed. There was no hesitation, no performance. He went straight for Stu, picked him up, and slammed him hard. Then came the punches. Fast, heavy, nothing staged about them. Each shot landed with the kind of force you don't see in scripted wrestling. Stu crumpled, the audience gasped, and the live stream lit up with disbelief. The second Raja slammed Psycho Stu into the mat. The entire mood shifted. Fans who came expecting choreographed bumps were suddenly watching something raw, unpredictable, and dangerous. At first, some thought it was part of the show until the hits kept coming. Raja wasn't pulling punches. Every strike landed hard, and each one carried that edge of real anger. The ring crew froze. The announcers stopped joking and started shouting. You could feel the panic setting in. The live stream chat went wild. Comments flew by at lightning speed, some cheering him on, others begging him to stop, some asking if they were about to watch a felony unfold on camera. In the front row, people leaned forward with their phones out, recording every second. Nobody knew what they were about to see, but everyone could feel that line had already been crossed. Security finally rushed the ring. Stu wasn't moving much, just a few groans as they tried to separate the two. Raja was breathing heavy, pacing like a caged fighter, his fists still clenched. He wasn't in wrestling mode. He was in fight mode, ready for anyone who stepped up. Even AJ, his friend, had to jump in, trying to calm him down before things got worse. For the audience, it was chaos. For Raja, it was personal. And for the promotion, it was a nightmare. Wrestlers backstage looked stunned, and you could hear someone shouting, "He's not a worker, he's not one of us." A desperate attempt to explain to the crowd that this wasn't a bit gone wrong. This was real. Then came the worst part. Stu didn't get up. He stayed down, motionless for several long seconds that felt like hours. The noise in the room dropped. The laughter and hype turned into murmurs and gasps. Some people backed away. Others kept their phones pointed, knowing they were capturing something explosive but also terrifying. By the time Raja was escorted out, the show was already over. The fans weren't watching the ring anymore. They were following him with their eyes, some booing, some still cheering. And somewhere in that building, someone had already dialed the police. By the time Raja was out of the building, the damage was done, and not just to the wrestler lying in the ring.
I'ma stand up for my fucking self because I'm tired of everybody playing with me, bro. Real shit.
Word spread fast. Clips of the attack started circulating almost immediately, pulled from the live stream and fans' phones. It wasn't some blurry backstage scuffle. This was a clear, hard-hitting moment, captured from multiple angles. The internet did what it always does, turned it viral. But behind the viral buzz came consequences. The promotion wasted no time addressing it. Knockouts Pro Wrestling issued a statement calling Raja's actions reckless and unacceptable, making it clear he wasn't part of the show and would never be invited back. They reminded fans and wrestlers that safety is non-negotiable, and Raja had crossed a line. Then came law enforcement. Reports confirmed that the Los Angeles Police Department opened an investigation into the incident, reviewing footage and speaking to witnesses. Suddenly, what started as a friend supporting a buddy at a wrestling event became a potential legal headache. According to updates, Raja could be facing charges for assault if authorities determined the attack went beyond self-defense or mutual consent. And through it all, one person was watching like everyone else: Quinton "Rampage" Jackson. The MMA veteran didn't sugarcoat it. On social media and streams, he made it clear he didn't condone what his son had done. He admitted Raja was recovering from a concussion, suggested his judgment might have been clouded, but still called the move unnecessary and dangerous. You could sense a mix of disappointment and concern, especially knowing how fast situations like this can spiral when the police get involved. The wrestler Raja attacked, known as Psycho Stu, was eventually reported awake and stable, but the fact he stayed down as long as he did left a shadow over the whole event. Fans debated whether Raja's temper, his head injury, or just bad timing turned a playful moment into something serious. Some defended him, saying a hit to the head when you're concussed is no joke. Others saw it as pure overreaction. One thing was clear: this wasn't staying a small room drama anymore. The night had become a headline. When the dust settled, people started asking the harder questions. Was this really just a bad reaction, or was something deeper going on? Because the truth is, Raja wasn't coming into that night at 100%. Days earlier, he'd been sparring and caught a spinning kick to the head, hard enough to leave him dizzy, nauseous, and throwing up. He even admitted on stream that he wasn't feeling right, that his head hurt and he probably should have been resting. That detail changed the way people looked at what happened. A concussion isn't a bruise. It's an injury that can fog judgment, slow reactions, even spark emotions that feel bigger than they are. When Stu cracked that prop can against his head, maybe Raja's body didn't just feel pain. Maybe his brain sounded an alarm. To a fighter, even a small threat can feel like a challenge. And to someone with an injured head, that flash of anger can come faster than reason. His father, Quinton "Rampage" Jackson, knows that world better than anyone. He's seen fights flip on adrenaline and tempers boil over, but even he couldn't hide his frustration. He went online saying he was disappointed, saying his son shouldn't have been in that environment at all. And coming from a man who made a career out of controlled violence, that meant something. The wrestling world was split. Some fans saw a young man who snapped after being provoked, someone who got hit when he was vulnerable and reacted like a fighter would. Others saw a guy who couldn't separate a friendly environment from a real fight and put someone's safety at risk. And hanging over it all was the silent question, was this just a hot-headed moment? Or the first sign that something bigger, stress, pressure, even early symptoms from head injuries was pushing Raja into dangerous territory? Whatever the answer, one thing was clear. This wasn't going away quickly. The video was everywhere, the LAPD was still investigating, and Raja's name was now attached to something no one could spin as harmless. It wasn't just a clip anymore, it was a warning sign about what happens when the worlds of real combat and entertainment collide. By the end of that night, Raja Jackson's trip to support a friend had turned into headlines, a police investigation, and a storm of opinions. What started with a joke and a prop can ended with a fighter charging the ring, a wrestler down, and a flood of questions no one could ignore. Was it simply a young man losing his temper? Or was there more to it, a concussion clouding judgment, a fighter's instincts kicking in at the worst possible time? The truth is, wrestling lives on spectacle, but this wasn't a storyline. It was a moment where reality punched through the script, where a stunt turned personal, and everyone saw what can happen when control slips. For Raja, it's now a mark on his name, whether fair or not. For fans, it's a reminder of how thin the line can be between entertainment and real danger. And maybe that's the bigger takeaway: when you mix trained fighters, raw emotions, and a little chaos, things can go sideways in seconds. Nobody in that building expected the night to end with a wrestler on the mat and police making calls, but that's exactly what happened. So now the question isn't just about Raja, it's about the bigger picture. How many times do we brush off head injuries, tempers, or warning signs until something breaks? And when it does, are we ready to see it? Not as a clip to replay, but as a moment that says something about how thin that line really is. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to Stars and Hype so you don't miss what's coming next. I'd love to hear your thoughts on how things will continue in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care and have a great day.